Hi, I'm Cynthia Kahn, founder of Amused Now, and I'm here today with TheBeatStillJK, one of the hottest producers coming out of Oakland, California.
Thank you,
Hi,
thank you.
JK.
How you doing, Cynthia?
I'm doing great. Well, from my research, I can see that you're really making a name for yourself. Congratulations on winning the All-Star Music Awards in Brooklyn, and I know that I voted for you to hopefully win the Southern Entertainment Awards. Tell
Thank
me,
you.
what's next for JK?
I appreciate your vote. Thank you very much. Right now, just working on a lot of independent projects. Currently working on a project over in Birmingham in the UK. It's going to be called United Beats of the Streets. Basically, I'm producing all of the tracks for the album, but it's going to be featuring the hottest underground UK artists. So that's a project I'm really excited for. We just finished shooting the commercial a couple days ago, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also working on a unique project called the Anthology. It's a series of poems that I'm doing, and I had an idea to do poems over my instrumentals. So I found some really talented poets all over the United States, and so I'm going to be putting that project together. I actually have my first one that'll probably be coming out around the middle of September. So very excited about that, and just producing songs and releasing new music really is kind of what's going on right now for me.
Wow, so tell us a little bit about your backstory. How long have you been producing music?
Well, I'm originally from Oakland, California. I started off in music around the age of 8. I've been playing the violin since I was about 8. Also played in orchestras up until I was in high school. So I've always interacted with music and always had a passion for it. I've started producing full time and really taking it serious probably about 6 years ago. Um, I was working a nice, comfortable corporate job for Bank of America, and it just wasn't what I wanted to do. I decided to pursue my dream of producing music. So I actually moved down to Atlanta. I took all my investment money that I had, all my savings, and basically supported myself for 2 years while interning in studios in Atlanta and really just learning the ropes of the music industry. To make sure I had a solid foundation before just jumping out there as a producer. And so within the last 2.5, 3 years, luckily for me, the fortune has really turned in my favor. As you mentioned earlier, I was very fortunate to win the 2012 All-Star Music Award in Brooklyn for Producer of the Year, which I really wasn't anticipating winning. It was in New York. It was mainly for New York artists. So being from California, I figured that it would just go to someone that was from that area. So that was a huge accomplishment for me. And just trying to follow up this year with the Southern Entertainment Award. That's definitely a big award show every year in the Tennessee area. So just following it up and trying to just continue to get better. But overall, I've been doing music since I was about 8, so 20 plus years now.
Oops, now we know how old you are.
Yeah.
So, now that you're producing and judging other people's work, what do you look for in an artist?
Oh boy. I tend to be a little bit more on the picky side. I generally, you obviously want talent. Everyone wants someone that's really talented, but I really look for someone that has the drive and the hunger to want to be successful. Again, a lot of people tend to think that you get into the industry, you get some really nice beats, and you make a song, you go on to sell a million copies like Mariah Carey, um, and that's just the way that the industry works. But there's really a lot of hard work and time that goes into it, and you have to pay your dues. As I mentioned, I've been doing this for 6, 7 years, and I'm just now getting to the point to where I'm starting to break through and people are starting to notice who I am, but that took a lot of hard work. So I want to see if the artist has that. I want to see that drive and I want to see that determination. And I like to see artists that are creative. Oftentimes I will, if I'm interested in working with the artist, I'll send them maybe a beat that's totally outside from what they're comfortable with just to see if they're going to say, no, I don't want to do that because it doesn't fit my style, or will they take the ambition to at least try to step outside of the box and come up with something new and creative? So really creativity and the determination are the biggest factors for me. And then after that, I get into the talent because I feel like you can coach up the talent either way. We can always get better with tips and things like that. So the determination, focus, and creativity are really the biggest factors that I look for.
So, who are your biggest influencers then, and what type of music do you like to produce?
Wow, musically, I feel I'm an eclectic mix, almost like a gumbo. Uh, my parents listened to a little bit of everything, which I'm very grateful for that. But some of my musical influences are the likes of Phil Collins. I'm a huge Phil Collins fan. I just the production, the voice, the arrangements, everything. Just is brilliant to me. I'm also a huge fan of Quincy Jones. That's somebody that I really try to model myself after. The production on Michael Jackson's Thriller to me is still arguably one of the best albums to ever be made. And the different arrangements with trumpets and how he blends all these different sounds at different times, I really try to patent myself after that a lot. Obviously, you have people like Michael Jackson and your Marvin Gaye's. And then more for producers, I'm really a huge fan of Timberland. I think he's really a creative genius and someone that really pushes the envelope in terms of what producing should really consist of. I'm also a huge fan of Dr. Dre as well. I love his sound and the clarity, and that's something that I try to strive for as well. So those are some of my influences musically, but I would probably say Quincy Jones is the biggest one for me. I really study his music a lot, and I get a lot of new ideas and creative ways to do my own producing from him. So
Well, they are legends, let me tell you. I'm
yes.
impressed. Well, since Amused Now is about artists helping artists, what should you look for in a producer and what type of questions should a musician ask?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Because picking a producer is almost like basically picking a college or figuring out what you want your first car to be. Because there has to be a chemistry, and I think that sometimes is the element that's lost right now in music because a lot of times now it's about who's the hottest at the time, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that sound or that vibe coincides with what you're doing as an artist. So I think the biggest factor in picking a producer if I was an artist would be what is the chemistry like, because if you have great chemistry, then it will turn into great music automatically because you can feed off of each other. That producer will know exactly what to do to enhance your style as an artist, and you'll know exactly what to do to enhance, his production or her production. So I think really the best thing you can do is develop a relationship with a producer, and I've often found that when meeting people within the industry, it's often best maybe sometimes to not even approach it about the music. It's oftentimes it's best to just sit down and figure out, do I even like this person? Do I connect with them? Do we have anything in common? Can we relate? Because that's what music is all about. It's about people that have a common bond, a thing, that links them together, but it's a vibe, and that's what you really want to create in your record. So for me, the biggest factor would be number one, can I relate with this person? Do we have a connection? And then does their sound really bring out the best in what I'm doing? And I would also want someone who would be knowledgeable enough to tell me the correct way to record or be able to help me structure my song to be able to sound its best, not just someone who's going to give me a beat, just record it, and okay, it sounds perfect. Or you want someone that's really going to bring out the best in you. And that might be pushing you to record something several times instead of just, going in one time and doing it. So those are kind of the factors that I would look for if I was an artist.
Do you have any other advice for your musicians?
Be creative. Be creative and don't be afraid to push the envelope. Don't be afraid to be the first person to try something new. I oftentimes kick myself because I might have thought of a concept or an idea maybe a few years ago and I didn't take advantage of it. And then you'll see a mainstream artist come along and use that very same concept. And you go, man, I really should have used that when I, thought of it during this time. So I always believe in being the innovator and networking. A lot of artists, I really see now that a lot of artists don't take advantage of the opportunities that the internet presents. There's a lot of events that go on across the country. And as an artist, your biggest thing is about networking and being around other artists, being around producers, managers, A&Rs. You really want to engulf yourself in those type of environments if you can, because that's going to be your biggest way to really get out there. Oftentimes, I see a lot of times that the producers will be pushing the songs a lot harder than the artists, and that should never be. If you're an artist and you're making music, your number one priority is that, and that should always be that focus. So that would be my additional advice.
So, are you saying that the artist should be on social media and in addition to like attending local events?
Yeah, I believe, I think within reason with the social media, because you can also hurt yourself as well with social media, whether you're, depending on what your conversation is about. So the conversation should be focused towards whatever your goal is. If you're preparing to, release a new project, then the conversation on social media should be involving that and kind of building up that hype. But just for example, the other day I was on the internet and I happened to stumble across a website that listed over 60 online radio shows and also the link to submit music for it. Those are the different things that you can take advantage of on the internet that will really help you reach people that might otherwise take, months, possibly years to kind of locate. It's right at your fingertips. You just have to know how to search for it and take advantage of it. I've been fortunate enough to connect with a lot of people through Twitter, such as yourself. So using the different tools that are out there to your advantage can definitely help you. But in the same way, if you're putting negative things on there or too much of your own comments, that can also hurt you. So it's just about using the tools that are there and using them in the way that help you as an artist.
Well, JK, you have given us a lot of really good information and great advice. When we launch our e-commerce site later this summer, I hope that you'll consider adding Amused Now to your musical distribution channel. Well, I wish you all the best, and I think that we'll be talking again soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. I really do, Cynthia.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Kahn, founder of Amused Now. This featured artist presentation has been brought to you by Amused Now Entertainment, a website that enables artists to profit from their creativity. To learn more about Amused Now, visit us at www.amusednow.com or email me at ccon@amusednow.com.